stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome to We Are Mighty. What is We Are Mighty? Well, it is the chronicles of my journey as I deal with grief in losing my son, Miles, aka Mighty, hence the title. And just for you to get a slight glimpse, the opening song and will be the closing song. That was Mighty himself, my baby, my son Miles. Every once in a while, I'll play that song. That's actually just an excerpt from about a 3 or 4 minute song that my son just recorded, and I knew nothing about it. And his friend sent it to me after his death, and he said some things in there about how much he cared about his mama and those, stuff that make you get all choked up. And so I felt it only fitting that be part of the title music for the podcast. Because like he said, they won't stop me. They may have taken him from us, but they still won't stop him. His legacy lives on. And I even found out recently that he touched so many lives. Before we go any further, how you doing? How's the last couple weeks been treating you? The last episode, I really can't tell you what happened. I just got emotional, and I always say I don't want to get too emotional. And my engineer always tells me, you got to be real, let it flow. So I was good. I didn't cut it off. I let it just go where it went. And I've said previously that I don't do this podcast for likes or for reactions or to go viral or anything of that nature. It's therapeutic for me. But I'm finding that it's therapeutic for others. After the last episode, I got a message from a young lady who lost her son earlier this year. And she just wanted me to know how much I inspire her and how much I'm helping her with her journey. That's the reason that I do it. I don't care if I get 2 likes, 2 views. Someone is being touched. Someone is being helped. And that is what I'm doing this for. In addition to my selfish reasons of helping myself, because I can just speak how I feel. I can speak what I'm going through. I can't see your facial expressions. I can't hear you trying to criticize me or tell me what I should be doing differently or telling me your opinion, which may not be favorable, but that's fine. We're going to have our opinions. Nobody's going to agree with everything you say or everything you do. And if you don't, I understand that and I have no problem with that. I just appreciate you giving me the chance, giving me your ear to listen to mine. So yeah, we here. We're always here. We have been going for over a year. I'm surprised. Probably every other week I'm trying to figure out what am I going to talk about. And especially now, if I'm honest, with things that are going on in my life, with the blessing that we recently received of the beautiful foster child, I'm having a hard time focusing on grief. That doesn't mean I'm not grieving, but I'm having a hard time focusing on it. Now, I still randomly, several times a week, cry because I miss my son or because something reminds me of him. But like I said, it's not the focus anymore. That doesn't mean my journey has ended. That doesn't mean I have no words or nothing to help or nothing to provide. The journey's just a little bit different now. And my mom even asked me if being able to love as a mother again pour out that mother's love on a new life if it's therapeutic for me. It definitely is. Now, no, I'm not saying go out and have a baby to get over your grief. No. I'm not saying go out and adopt to get over your grief. No. I'm saying that the timing, because when I say it happened like a whirlwind, it absolutely did. But it came at a time that it was healing for me, that it helped me to just feel a little bit stronger as a mom, because there was a huge hole. Is that a hole filled? No, it's just a little bit smaller. So it's a little bit easier. And we always said from the beginning, it'll eventually get easier. We don't know how, we don't know why, we don't know when. I absolutely didn't expect this. But it's a little bit easier. I can get up a little bit faster in the mornings. I can do a little bit more each day. Have a little bit more energy. Now, am I tired? I have a 1-month-old. I'm absolutely tired. But it's a tired that I'm willing to deal with. We deal with grief in our own way. And I don't want it to be like having the baby is me dealing with grief, because it's two separate things. But being responsible for that little life has definitely helped me to look at things a little bit differently. You know, I sing with a local band, and there's a lady who, the band's been around for a while. I just recently started singing with them in the last couple months. And there's this one lady who is at almost every show. And she's such a sweet spirit. I just love her. And we even, one show allowed her to come up and sing a song with us. And she recently added me on social media. And out of the blue, was it yesterday? The day before yesterday. Not that you know what day I'm recording, but anyway. In the last couple of days, she sent me a message that said, "If you don't mind, may I ask how you know Miles?" How do I know Miles? I'm looking at this message like, wait a minute. I know you're new to my social media and, but there's pictures of my son everywhere. Before I could reply, another message come through that says, "Oh, you're his mom." And she starts telling me how Miles and her daughter went to the same middle school, and how much she loved my son, and how she used to tell him she was going to put his dimples in her pocket because he didn't need them. Miles was known for those dimples. Like I told him when he was little, those are going to be woman slayers, and they loved his dimples. And this lady sent me a couple messages about Miles and his dimples. And she just talked about how amazing he was, and how my neighbor who used to, when we had the duplex and the kids used to sneak out together in the middle of the night, that she was close to that neighbor. And so she knew him up until adulthood. And just what an amazing young man he was. And I love to hear those things. It really warms my heart when someone can speak so highly of my son, even now, 2 years after he was taken from us, to still be surprised with someone saying, "Oh, wow, you're Miles' mom? Well, he was such a great guy," or "He was so cool," or "He trained me." My son was at work. A new guy came to work and said something about working for the company that Miles used to work for. And my son was like, "Yeah, my brother trained a lot of people there." The guy asked him his brother's name, and he did the same thing. "Oh, wow. yeah, Miles did train me. He was amazing. He was so cool. He was one of the funniest dudes. And I guess he was on medical leave when Miles was killed. And he was like, man, I was so mad. I missed everything. I didn't even know what happened. And it's crazy. Again, we're 2 years later, and there's still people coming to us just saying how amazing he was. Those kinds of things, just especially as a mother, it makes you feel like, I did do something right. I did raise that kid right. It sometimes also makes you think of what a blow it was to lose him. But still, I did everything I could as a mother. I did everything I could for my kids, and I still do for those that are living. There are days when it's just depression because I lost one, but also remember that I'm still a mom to others. My oldest son calls me every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, if I'm honest. He has questions. He'll text me. He's still there, and I'm still being a mom to him, and I will always be his mom. My stepsons, I will always be a mom to them. You have to make sure that you don't allow that grief to stop you from everything else that you are. Because I feel like for probably a year and a half at least, we hit 2 years July 16th. I would say for a year and a half, my identity was just Miles' mom. Miles' mom, and people knowing that Miles had been killed. I'm not only Miles' mom, though. I have to remind myself of that. Being Miles' mom has become a bigger part of my identity because of what happened. But I'm still also Malcolm's mom. I'm still Ronnie's wife. I'm still, my mom's daughter, my dad's daughter, my sister's, my sibling's sister. I'm still all of that. And I'm just recently getting to the point where those identities are coming back. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Again, I'm not a therapist. But I don't want being Miles' mom to be back burner either. So it's like a balancing act. And I'm still navigating and figuring out how exactly to manage it all. It's like literally managing being happily married, being a mom, being a loving mom, being a present mom, and also grieving, a grieving mom. And that's a difficult combination. Of course, this is the first time and the only time I'm going to be on this type of a journey. There's no handbook. There's no step-by-step. There's nobody who can tell you, here's how you do this. Even grief counselors, they can only give you tips. Try this. See how this works for you. Have you thought about this? But they can't tell you, hey, look, here's what you do. Step by step by step. Get up in the morning. Think about this. Say this. Do that. They can't. Because it would be different for every single patient. It would be different for every single grieving person on this earth. You know how many people that is? How many people those are? How many? You get it. That's a lot. That's why there's no way that there can be a handbook. That's why there's no actual cycle of grief. There's stages. But even with the stages, they don't number them because we know you can be at 1, 3, 5, 4, back to 1, 1, 2, 1. You're going to deal with those stages, but there's no order. I think that's probably one of the, I don't know if I want to say the hardest lessons I've had to learn about grief, but probably one of the biggest. There's no cookie cutter way. There's no way to navigate it as in navigating other things. But think about it. Even in parenting, there's no cookie cutter way to parent. There's no cookie cutter way to discipline. Everything is catered to that child and their personality. And it's the same thing with grief. But you're catering it to your own personality, to your own thoughts, your own strength levels. So you can't tell someone else who's going through similar, even if I had another mother who came to me and her child was killed in a very similar nature to mine, I still can't tell her, here's what you do. Because there's so many outliers. There's so many other factors that come into play. And it will not be identical. Everyone's grief journey is like their fingerprints. It won't match anybody else's. And it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to. Your life is your life. Your trials, your tribulations, the things you deal with, that is what's for you to deal with. I can tell you to try certain approaches. I can encourage you because certain things have worked for me. But even in encouraging you to try things that I may have tried, you still have to cater it to your situation. I didn't even plan on going that route, but it's the truth. And the young lady who reached out to me saying that she was so fond of my son and that she, remembered him from middle school and as an adult, her daughter actually ran into Miles the night that it happened. And they had a conversation, and I guess Miles was going to go by to see her mom that night when he left the party. And they were supposed to go and grab something to eat. And the young lady was waiting for him at this restaurant that stays open after hours. And her mom said she messaged her and she said, "Mom, Miles never called me back. I don't know what happened." And then the next morning they found out what happened. It's crazy how many people have told me that either they or a loved one or someone that they were close to ran into Miles that night. And to know that night we also had a family night. And we look back on it. My oldest son gets so upset when he looks back because Miles was adamant about trying to get him to come bowling with us. He didn't feel like it. He's a car fanatic and he just wanted to be in the garage working on his car, so he didn't come. Of course, now he's like, "Ma, I totally regret it. You had no way of knowing." But when I think about how Miles reached out to my son, he reached out to my brother, and he really wanted them to come bowling. Like, it was weird. Like, why are you pushing so hard for them to come bowling? And then other people, I hadn't seen Miles in I don't know how long, and I just happened to run into him that night. How does that happen? The young lady who reached out to say how amazing you, I hadn't seen him in a couple years, and he ran into my daughter, and he was going to come and see me. Like, what do you take from stuff like that? How? It's like, I don't want to say, did he know? But for it to be just so many people to say, I saw him that night and I hadn't seen him in a while. Or there was a young lady who said, I saw him that night and I tried to talk him out of going to that party because I knew there were some unsavory characters. And that young lady was so messed up because she felt like she should have done more. And a lot of times people say, when it's your time, it's your time. So did he know? It's crazy to think about it that way. But when you see, there's one other crazy thing, and people don't believe me until I show them. I have to show them first and then tell them because I don't want to influence what it is. We took a picture at the bowling alley that night, shortly before we left. The whole family, we were all in different places in the picture in the bowling alley. My husband and I are kind of further back down the alley. Miles is closer. He's next to my brother and his friend. And we're all posing and smiling. And if you look at that picture, there's a glow around Miles. It's scary. And like I said, I never say it to anyone before I show it because they always say, well, why don't you put that picture up? Or why don't you use that picture more often? I can't. Because that picture just, it's almost a trigger. But when I show people and I say, just look at it. And they're like, what are you talking about? Oh, it's just a picture of you guys. That's such a great picture. You should use it. And then when I point it out, I always say, before I show you this, you can't unsee it. And when they see it, it's wild. How does something like that happen? Do I believe in the paranormal? Not really. I don't even know how to explain it. And of course, I didn't see it until after the fact. Well, it's like a week or so after the fact. Of course, I didn't really look at that picture for a while. I did not put it in his obituary. But it's scary. And then some people are like, oh, it's divine. I don't know what to call it. All I know is it's the last image I have of my baby alive. And I can barely look at it. So it's all of it. Going through from the moment that person's taken away from you to the moment you have to actually accept that they're gone. So the moment that you see them, to see them in a casket, those images can be burned in your memory. And I know for the first few months, I felt like they were burned into my eyelids. Because every time I closed my eyes, that's what I saw. But you can even get past those things, believe it or not. I have a mother that I know who lost her son maybe 6 months, maybe a year before I lost Miles. And I remember, don't know why, but I remember thinking, oh my God, my baby's next. And I ask her all the time, you should come to a podcast. You should come and be a guest on my podcast. Again, she's been a year longer than I have, and she can't do it. She can't talk about it. She doesn't want to face it. She doesn't want to deal with it in that way. Now she deals with it. She's going about her life. She's doing really well. But she said she can't do it right now. We're going to do it one day, though. Again, nothing's cookie cutter. Your journey's your journey. My journey's mine. Am I crazy for chronicling my journey this way and having video evidence, or having every other week recording what I'm going through and dealing with that pain and that hurt and that sorrow? I don't know. I'll let you in on a little secret. And my engineer's going to kill me. I don't go back and look or listen to any of my episodes. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I want to go back to those moments, to go back to those feelings. I've tried. I've tried to look for maybe clips to do advertising to grow my audience. But I can't watch them. And I can only listen for so long. And that's funny that I would like for another audience to do so. But it is what it is. I think that's how you know that it's authentic. I'm not putting on an act for anybody. I'm not putting on a show. So yeah, it's hard for me to, here's previews of the next episode, or here's a recap of last time on We Are Mighty. Nah. We ain't doing all that. I just recently got to the point where I will share the link. So share summaries. Yes, I know. My engineer is laughing at me right now. He's always telling me you're not promoting it. You're not putting it out there. It took me 2 years to get to that point. So how do you expect me to go back and watch it and pull clips? And I can't do. I'm not an influencer. I'm not. I am a mother who lost her son, who's dealing with that grief and hoping to somehow help others deal with theirs. Even in seeing me cry, which I don't like you to see, but even in seeing me deal with my emotions, I just hope that it's helping. I hope that I can't even say I hope that it's helping, because I know when I get messages from people, when I get a text, I get a call, or I see somebody in public and they just let me know, I listen to your podcast. Because of course I can see the views on YouTube, and they're not very high. But I forget that there's so many other platforms that people can use. And people have said, oh, I listen to you on this platform. Wait a minute, I'm on that platform? I guess I do say everywhere you listen, right? So who knows how many people I'm reaching? Who knows how far I'm reaching? The goal is just to reach someone who needs it. And we'll be here for whomever needs it. I'm starting to share links. I'm getting better. You can share them with your friends and family, anyone who's going through. I've actually had people who ask me to reach out to their loved ones who are grieving. And I'm getting better at that as well. I don't know what this platform is going to bring for me. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. As long as it takes. As long as I have something that I think someone may want to hear, I'll be here. Even as the journey gets a little bit easier, because I think it also helps for others to see that it will get easier at some point. So I hope you're still sticking it out with me. You may not be my day 1, you may be my day 2, day 43. Still stick it out with me. We're in this together. I can't say we'll overcome it, but I'll say it'll get better. It's a lifelong journey. For as long as you live. Literally. So we are here every other Friday, everywhere you listen to podcasts, as well as you can view us on YouTube and Spotify. Feel free to email me at wearemighty24@gmail.com. You can view our Facebook page, We Are Mighty Podcast. Reach out however you need. I'm here. I promise I'll respond, because I'm not a celebrity, so your message will get to me quickly. It is what it is. And I think it's okay to have a little bit of fun and a little bit of laughter, because it does help. Doesn't change the circumstance, doesn't change what we're going through. Just reminds us that we'll be all right. In everything you do, be true to yourself. Be strong and be mighty. We'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.